Windows. Why is the window not working? Hey guys, so in this episode we're going to take a look at fixing this little dent I've got in my door here. It's not too bad of a dent, but it's enough that it's noticeable and it kind of bothers me. So a few things to note about this dent is there's a little bit of a crease, nothing major, but it is there. There's also the, I don't know what you want to call it, support bar, crash bar, something like that, impact bar. Right around where this dent happens to be. So for this dent, I've decided not to use or try to use the suction cup or plunger method. And the reason for that is because I don't think it'll work too nicely on this dent, and also because I can just pull off the door card on the inside. I'll get pretty decent access from the backside to kind of hammer it out. So I said hammer it out. We're not going to use an actual hammer. We're going to use a mallet. The reason for that is if we take a metal hammer, it'll just kind of ruin everything. So you've got this. And then, in order to make sure we don't mess up the paint, we're going to go ahead and use a heat gun. And that'll help soften up the paint, make sure it doesn't crack, flake, or anything like that while we deform it. And it's especially important because it's a little chilly in here. So let's go ahead and get started. First order of business, in order to start working on this dent, we got to take this door card off. And to do that, we're going to use our little trim removal tool. Now, you can use one of these. I don't suggest using a flathead screwdriver. You don't want to mess up all your paint. Not that you're going to mess up paint on the inside, but you know it'll eat up the plastic, chew it up, and it won't be nice. So if you do have to use a screwdriver, put it under a cloth, or put a cloth over it, and that way it'll kind of keep that from happening. Another thing worth noting is you're going to have a bunch of extra bits that you're going to have to take off in order to get behind the panel. So I'm going to have to remove the little window control thing along with the door handle. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we've got the little inserts out of the door card, so now we're just going to go ahead and start pulling this off. Okay, as you just saw, we got the card off, and now I have to deal with getting all this sheet off. And we left behind some of the freaking fasteners. Those are always the worst when they get left behind because they're always so soft and you can't really get a good hold on them. But I'll be able to make it work. It's not too bad. It's not the end of the world. I'm just glad that it doesn't look like any actual damage happened to the card while I was taking it off. And that's something I'm always a little worried about. So that's good. So look at that. Okay, so we've got the little, I think it's a vapor barrier. I'm not entirely certain, but the sheet of plastic off, I went ahead and put it on the hood there. Laid it out so the adhesive doesn't get on anything. It's not really that sticky right now because it's kind of cold, but part of what was going on was because it was so cold, it was not really letting go at all. So I wound up using the heat gun to get the little part around the speaker warmed up because that was really holding on tight. So this is what it all looks like, and the fun part is our dent is like right back in there. So we're gonna have a little bit of a fun time getting at it, but I figure we can make it work somehow. I'd stop and show you what it's looking like so far here. You can see I was kind of going back and forth testing a little bit, but so it's actually starting to get a lot better now. There's a little bit of a crease going on. It's really making it difficult. Also, it's really right along that support beam in there, so it's a little difficult to get at it. I might need to use something a little smaller to get in there, but the important thing is that's already looking a lot better. I accidentally went a little too far out right here. However, I can kind of push that back in a little bit. You can kind of see what I'm talking about. It's just a little far out. So really that right there, that's the main spot that I'm still trying to get out. And it's being a little temperamental, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. Okay, so I've ran into a little bit of a roadblock. I cannot quite get to this little spot right here. It's just too close to the little support in the door. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little wobble extension I've got, and I'm gonna cover the end in a cloth, and I'm gonna just kind of like that. Might not be the best result, however, I'll at least get that out, and then I can kind of work it back a little from the outside. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. As you can see here, it's still not quite perfect. It's, yeah, there's still a little waviness going on. However, overall, compared to how it looked before, it looks a lot better. You can kind of see from there, it's no longer like that entire little area in there. It's just that little guy right there. So if I really need to, and I probably will at some point, I'll just go ahead and Bondo over that. I'll actually probably get that done when I gotta get new paint on this thing, because it's totally reasonable to do that at this point. It's no longer like trying to fill in something that's been completely pushed in. It's all just like, honestly, you could consider those dings at this point. We got just a little bit of new damage to the paint right there. You can kind of see it right there. Nothing major. Again, I'll probably just cover that with a little bit of extra touch-up clear coat, just so water doesn't get in there and make it rust. Yeah, same with this little existing guy here. I don't think I actually treated that. I think that started flaking recently. But yeah, it's actually pretty nice. Yeah, I'm glad with this result. Something I think is funny is you can kind of see how the door is all messed up right along here. That's because the seatbelt for a while wasn't always fully retracting. It would get caught inside the door jamb, and then I'd kind of close the door on it, and this just so happened to be where the buckle was. So it's a neat little story there. It's a little wear, but nothing significant. With all that said, it's time to go ahead and get everything back on the door. So a little plastic sheet, and then the door card, and then all the extra little bits and pieces. So we've got the door card here all back installed. Everything's nice. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and put the key in the ignition and make sure everything functions as intended. I already made sure that the lock works correctly. So that's good. All that's really left is the heated seats, which are down there, the speakers, or rather singular speaker, and all the window stuff. So let's go ahead, grab the key, and give it a shot. Alright. Okay, speakers worked. I just stopped recording to make sure we don't run into any copyright issues, but yes, it does work. We already verified the locks work, so let's go ahead. Windows. Why is the window not working? Plugged them in. Oh, you know why? It's in the accessory position. Here we go. Other side. Rear vents. Last one. Yep, all good. Yeah, a nice little finishing touch there. All nice and clean. So we can see here, this door looks brand new, or, you know, that looked before on the inside. And on the outside, quite a bit better. Again, not perfect, but still pretty nice. So, really happy about that. That kind of outlined a quick way to fix your dented door. Maybe you're not looking for a perfect fix, you're just looking to get it a little bit nicer so it's a little less unsightly. If I really wanted a showroom finish, I would take it somewhere professional, unless I was really gonna spend a lot of time on that. Next video, I'm gonna talk about how to organize a build, because there's a lot of stuff that kind of goes into that, and you kind of want to be able to figure out how to get a nice little outline going so you don't get distracted on weird little things. Stay tuned for that, and I'll be going up next week. If you like this video, give it a like. If you want to see more, give it a subscribe. I really appreciate it. Drop a comment if you've got anything. I mean, if you got questions, let me know. I love hearing from you guys. Have a great day, guys. See you in the next one.